That should be doing something. Right, hello. So the premise of this is I'm going to do some painting. If I sound a little far away, I do apologise. I just gotta click some buttons. Okay, we're all good. Yeah, we're totally all good. Totally all good. Totally sorted. No. Okay. We are sorted. Is that good to go? Let's delete all that. That's something else. Don't need to put that on. Okay, save that. Oh, it shows my icons. Shows my icons on the stream. Nice. Yeah, we're good. I'm good. What am I worried about now? Nothing. Right. Okay. I want to watch my own stream. Upcoming? No, it's going on right now. What are you on about? It's going on right now. Okay, that works. Alright, there we go. Right, okay, so the premise of this. Look at this setup, huh? So I've got a camera, it will autofocus, and then so I can show you. But the idea is that I've got a stopwatch in this corner, there, and we're gonna paint a model. Okay, so for those of you who don't know, I'm really into Games Workshop. I am by no means an expert painter. However, I am enthusiastic about the hobby, and I do. What's that? Okay, and I do want to improve. So this is what we've got going on. We're gonna go with this for starters. We're gonna go for a goblin. So I got this goblin. It's sprayed grey. I think it's Mechanicus standard grey. And then what it's been is I've sprayed downwards with skull white. And unfortunately, that's why I've got this rather powdery complexion. So that's what I'm going to paint. I've got this for any leftover paint that I'm going to apply to in case like the other one hasn't dried fully during the hour. This is one of those. They're from the Dominion box set, and I consider. Can I get it closer and get it to focus? And I thought they were just the ugliest looking models in their conventional thing. So what I've done is this goblin's been set up as an archer, but then it left like spear and shield arms. So what I've done is I've just put the spear and shield arms on this guy. That's what I've done. I've just done that, and that's that really. But then the thing is, on the back, you can see that on the back he's got sleeves, but he's actually got a bare back. But if I just paint the back brown, you're not going to know. You're not going to realise. So I made these look a little prettier, in my oh so humble opinion. So that's what we're doing. We're doing a goblin. What have we got paints wise? I guess we need to kind of figure this out. Okay, so I'm going to go for XV88 as my brown, and then I'm going to try and blend it up to a yellow. So it would be quite a light robe. I've got Moot Green from a green. I've got green tone, which will hopefully do recesses. Hopefully it's not too bad, not too like not too what's the word I'm looking for? Not too dark versus bright, not too heavy in contrast. White to lighten up colours, as I'll have to mix. I've got some Lead Belcher and some Runefang Steel knocking around here. Don't know how useful they're going to be. I got some Chrome Red. Got some of that, and that's about it really. Is that everything I'm using colour-wise? It is for now. I've got some dark tone. I don't know if I'm going to use that. I should find a colour for the browns. Let me have a look. Let me have a looky. I don't have the most extensive amount of colours. Oh, here we go. Here's one. I've got this. Agrax Earthshade. We'll use that. Okay. So that's pretty much all the colours. Sort ourselves out a couple of brushes. Let's go for... Let's have a look. What have we got here? This is a layer brush. It's not in the best condition, but it will do us. What's this one? Another layer brush. We've got 2 layer brushes. Fantastic. What's this one? Another layer. So we can chop and change brushes if need be. And something thick bits. This is a... Oh, this is so worn, I can't tell you what this is. This is... Oh, it's a starter brush. But it's in really bad condition. Let's see if it will focus on it. But it should allow me to get a lot of surfaces on. Okay. Shall we start the hour then? I think we should. I might just go and have a little cheeky check just to make sure that everything is going okay. Before we start the hour, I just want to have a little look. Why is that? Why is that upcoming? It should just be on. Let's have a look. Why is it claiming to be like not on yet? Because it should be on. It should very much have started. Let's see. I don't know. I don't know. I feel like this is getting away from me. I'm sure this will figure out at some point. Okay, well we're just gonna have to chalk this up as, because I'm kind of halfway between streaming and recording. I'm kind of in this weird in-between space. So like, how can I put it? Not quite a streamer, but I don't fully edit videos, and I do them in one take, so it's almost like it's recorded live, but it isn't. So it's kind of like a little bit in between. But so you know, I exist in this very unusual space, and unfortunately, there's not a lot of people in it. And I just don't know. I don't necessarily need somewhere to belong, but it's just I don't know where it is, where I sit in all that. Okay, so should we start the clock? Yeah, I've got my Vortex mixer. Oh yeah, the wet palette is Army Painter. This Vortex mixer, which I swear by as well. Both of these I consider like real game changers for my painting. This isn't my most recent, but it's one of my more recents. This one doesn't have edge highlights though, but this is kind of where I'm getting to. Like I say, I'm by no means like a brilliant painter, but I do enjoy the hobby an awful lot. So that's my Space Marine. I just wanted to have grey Marines. I always have. Is that going to focus? Do I have to move down a bit? No. This camera is a Razer Kino. Its autofocus isn't the best, but it's still... No, let's allow me to do this. Okay, right. Let's do it. Let's start the hour. So go up to here. 3, 2, 1, book. Okay, we go. Let's go for greys first then. I'm going to go with the Earth Shade straight away. I'm just going to put it on my Vortex mixer. Whee! So useful. Okay. I'm not going to use my wet palette for the shade. I'm just going to put it straight onto the model. Now, it's going to take a little while to dry, but I have an idea, and that is to use it to help me to wet blend. That's the idea. So I'll just whack it on, and I'll show you my progress. Feet. Am I going to paint the feet green with only an hour? I guess I could and probably should. So let's just whack this on. I could do the feet. I got time for the feet. I can do the feet. I'm going to include the bow in this. Now it looks like I haven't got full coverage with the spray. But that might not hurt me at this point. I like to spend more time on the faces than anywhere else. I feel like the faces is really where you get to shine. And I also like orcs and goblins because you don't necessarily have to paint pupils on the eyes, which I want to do. I want to get good at faces. I don't want to shy away from something in the hobby just because it's difficult, you know? I can do the arrow. I would say that I'm happy with that. There we go. Just do the bow. I can leave the hand. Okay. that is pretty easy. So I reckon we should go ahead and... Oh no, there's just little bits in there. The trouble is I'm going to want to lean like this on the desk for the really steady hand bits. I could use some more light as well. Is this going to ruin everything if I put this on? Cast some pretty heavy shadows, but it should be okay. Okay, so all I've done is just literally gunked it up. All we've got is gunked up, and that's taken me very little time at all. Come on, focus camera, come on. Can you focus on the goblin, please? Hello? Hello? Oh! There we go. That's all I've done. Let's go ahead with the green tone. I will put this on my palette though, because it's got this... Oh, this is an Army Painter paint. Green, yeah, it's just green tone. These bottles... The bottles are what makes me favour these over Games Workshop paints. I really enjoy Games Workshop paints, but they don't half dry out easily. And it is somewhat tiresome. So let's just go ahead and do the greens. I'm just going to go in there on the face. Okay. Pretty easy so far. Green, green, green. I don't mind if it bleeds over a little bit, because anything I can do to have more gradual highlights for me is beneficial, really. Because I know dry brushing is incredibly easy, but unfortunately with dry brushing is that it's incredibly apparent that it's dry brushing, and I just don't like the chalkiness of dry brushing. Unfortunately, I'm just going to hang on a second. Let's just put a little bit more on here. There we go. Okay, so we've got the greens and we've got the browns. Very easy so far. Greens and browns. That should all sit in the recesses. So now, from that point, we can... we can move on. Okay, should really keep those closed. So what we got? XV88. Let's see how we're getting on. Right, how are we doing in here? Oh, it's actually in terrible condition. Speaking of Games Workshop paints, like I've hardly used it, but I guess it's just sat stagnant somehow, and the pigments. I don't know why that's happened, but I'm gonna have to find an alternative to the old XV. There's not much use for that other than mixing with something else. But yeah, okay. Let's find another brown. Let's see what we got. Anything? I'll take any brown, to be honest. Any brown at all. Brown? Ah, here we go. What's this? Yeah, bingo. We have now got Mornfang Brown. Yeah, Mornfang Brown. Let's go for this one. There we go. That'll do. Okay, yeah, there's some paint in this one. That's fantastic. Boop. There's more brown than I'm going to need. Always have a little bit of water. Again, wet palettes. If you don't use wet palettes, the paint dries so fast, it's just shocking. So I would heavily recommend having it. So I'm just going to be pretty liberal with this bit. I'm going to try not to get it on the face. But as I'm doing green next, I'm not overly concerned. Should I be using a larger brush for this? Well, no, I don't think so actually. Paint's a bit thick, but I should be okay. You should do it in multiple little layers, so I'm told. Now in the recesses, the wash is still wet. But what I can get then is, if you see there on the back of the hood, it kind of mixes in a little bit. You see that? I don't know if that's... Let's just keep going. Because I want to go... Ooh. Sorry, I'm just doing around the hood. Around the face. In theory, maybe I should have done the face first, but... This isn't my natural painting arrangement because I've set the camera up and stuff, but still, I think I should be okay. A little bit more water in there, I feel. Yeah. There we go. How much time do I have? 53. So I've been going 7 minutes and I'm already pretty confident so far. Can you see what I'm doing from there? No, I've moved it away, haven't I? I've moved it away. I have to paint with you guys in mind. It would be nice to sit down for a longer period of time and sit and paint with you guys. But I've given myself this hour challenge just because of time constraints of real life. There we go. Whee! A little bit in there. Not too much, because there's probably a lot of wash still in there. So I'm not painting into the deepest recesses. Yeah, that's fine with me. Whee! Back of the robe. The good thing about the Sigmar models... See, these goblins are really old. They were here before Sigmar happened, and you could have them in the rank and file. And I'm really excited about the old world coming back, because I would like to have a rank and file army. The issue is that I don't get to paint too often. I don't get to paint quickly, and I don't paint quickly, and so getting stuff up and assembled is difficult. Now, for any of you who's really into the hobby, there's this slap chop approach, but that ties in with my disdain for dry brushing, in that you essentially base your model black and then spray paint. Not spray paint, but dry brush it with whites and with greys and whites, and you work out all the highlights and you go over it with a contrast paint. Oh, I've fluffed up a little bit there. And then, I mean, the effect's nice, but it still looks like a dry brush. But I think I've seen, or I hope it was, I didn't watch the video, but I think they, like, if you dry brush it and then do all your edge highlighting, working in only greys and whites, and then go over it with the contrast, that might get you closer, because I've got like a shed load of Horus Heresy Marines from the, what's it called, Age of Darkness box set, and I need to find a way to get those painted en masse, because there's an awful lot of them. There's not much needed in the way of detail on this. So if you're watching this and you think, hey, look, table, you could do this better, this could be done differently, not just with the painting but with the setup. If you have something else in mind, like a way I can rejiggle it, if it's a case of positioning and whatnot, I can do that. If it's like, hey, table, you should get yourself this bit of kit, don't recommend that, because I just can't. But anything like, if you, with the existing stuff, like I said, if it's like moving the camera or the sound or something that I can tweak without having to make a purchase, that would be, I can do that. I can definitely do that for you. So robe's done. Just a little bit on the bow now. Pretty easy. I've noticed I've missed some green on the hand, but what I can do is I can just put a splash on that in just a moment. In fact, I will put just a splash of that on it right now. Now, you shouldn't leave brushes in your water because it will naff them up. But I am going to leave this one in there briefly, just while I finish the brown. And I'm just doing that now so that that can finish drying whilst I finish the bow, or it gives me a slightly more time. So the feathers shouldn't be the same colour as the robe. What I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the feathers underside of the bow. I'm not overly concerned about underside, really. Like, if someone's going to pick up, and I can't remember the last time someone picked up one of my models and looked underneath it, so I shouldn't worry about it. Whenever I do like stuff that's not readily visible, it's more for my benefit than anything else. Okay, arrow is done. Let's do that a little bit in there. Okay, so that's where we're at now. Robe's done. With the recesses still showing. That patch on... There's a big dark patch on the back of the hood. But you can see that some of the ink's still showing. I might just dollop a little bit more in some of those recesses. Just ever so slightly, ever so gently. But let's do a brush wash now. See where we're at. 47 minutes, 48 minutes. More than enough time. I don't see an issue with getting this sorted out. Oh, holy moly. Some people have actually been able to say stuff. Hey, yeah. Yeah, model paint. I love model painting. Here's the thing about coffee. You coffee drinkers, right? Don't you just hate it when you make a coffee and it's just sitting there for a little bit too long and it gets to a case where it's getting a little bit cold and you have to slurp down? Like, this is 3/4 of a cup and it's not a small cup, and now I've got to slurp this sucker down. Bear with me, I don't want to waste the coffee. Ay caramba. There we go. Ah, no, a microwave. Yeah, I could have just put it in the microwave. Oh, yeah. You could just put the coffee in the microwave. A problem I've been suffering from for years has just been solved. Right, should we do the green or should we continue with the robe? Let's continue with the robe, actually, because the wash will need to dry a little bit longer. So remember I said I was going to do some of the recesses? So let's do some of those. I'm taking this hour deadline thing awfully casually. So we're going to go in, I'm just going to go in and put some more in the recesses. And then I can see if I can't, then I can liven it up with some highlights. But just like the underside of the hood, just ever so slightly. There we go. I'll redo the belt, I think. Some bits under the belt. There we go. And then just a couple of the deeper grooves on the robe itself I'm going to do. That's far too much. Don't have anywhere to put it. A little bit on the belt, that's a bit too much. Yeah, I got a bit carried away there. But that's by the by. I'm not overly worried. Should I put a bit in there? Yeah, okay. A little bit by the foot. Double down on the hood. Maybe where the sleeve meets. A little hole there. In that recess. Oh, I'm getting a bit liberal with it now. That's okay, I think. As long as I don't cake the whole thing, I do want to leave some of the brown. But like I said, I'm not like a super pro painter. I'd love to be. I'd love to be super pro. But the main thing is that I really like the hobby and I'm keen to improve and to learn, and that's kind of why I get a kick out of it. I like the progression. Okay, that's fine. That's drying. Let's get the fun bits on. Let's do the eyes. Let's have a look at eyes. Oh. FX kits. FX kits are amazing. Although I always had trouble with the glue and the cockpits. They always used to mist up. That was my big weakness on FX. Yeah. Excuse me. The mech you have sitting on the table. That mech is actually a Space Marine. That's a Space Marine. There you go. But I do, if you're not familiar with the term kit bash, I do kit bash a lot of models. For example, this is my, it's essentially a cyborg, but it's a human, genetically modified human with lots of mechanical gubbins. And this model, I made this myself just by putting parts together. So if I just turn it around, it's very junk themed, but you can see, there we go. I've got some others as well, hang on. Where have I put them? Here's a couple that aren't painted at all. But again, these are just parts put together. So this one's a very chunky one. I haven't figured out the head yet, but you can see that it's got like chunky chunky crab pincer arms, and it's a very big, brutish. Kind of reminds me of Juggernaut from X-Men in its proportions. I've got this one, which was just me putting parts together. This is more of a... I don't know what this is actually, but it's like, again, robot. Just had some parts lying around, so I gave it a big claw. And it's got a little, I don't know, cutter of some sort on the other arm. But then I've got some painted ones. I just don't know where they are currently. Maybe they're in this box. Oh, if I knock the camera, I apologise. Oh yeah, here they are. Yeah, here's some. So, this is a mech I designed, put together with parts. So you can see, like, it's. I'm a big RoboCop fan, so I made like an Ed 209. It doesn't really have any like ideas in the game. I don't know what to use it for, but I just thought I wanted to make like an Ed 209 kind of mech. I really like putting parts together, because with a few of the armies, the themes can be really broad. Like here's another one that I made. This guy's on tank tracks. I don't know if you can see that. He's on tank tracks. So he's got like a big shoulder gun and he's carrying like a mace. And he's got like power plant surgically grafted in his back. I really like him. It took a little while to paint. And I've got another one, which is like the brother to that first one I showed you. This is like his brother. I did them at the same time. So again, it's like GM body, with loads of gubbins stuck on, so he's got like a gun just stuck straight into the stump there. Not too compassionate towards the person. They're most likely, in this situation, they're normally lobotomized. So yeah, so that's those. But I'm not painting the goblin. We should really go back to painting the goblin. The tank tracks. The tank tracks it's actually relatively simple to do. It's simply a silver and then an ink, and then you can go over it with another silver and bring out some of the highlights. But I didn't highlight these. I didn't do any of the highlighting. I might have cleaned it up a little, but what I'm most pleased with is this arm, like trying to blend the colors together for the muscle tone. That's really tough. But these are just the most recent ones I'm working on, amongst others. Here's another one of those Marines, those Space Marines. They're very heavy armor orientated. But you can see I'm painting in a lot of grey because I just happen to have grey. I don't have the biggest palette of paints. because the paint's quite expensive, so you have to build them up piecemeal. So I find I do a lot of greys at the moment. Okay, right, we got to do this hawk. So what we've got, moot green. Okay, let's just shake this up. Moot green. There we go. But yeah, Games Workshop's a great hobby. If you live in the UK or the EU, you can go to, because there's some retailers that sell Games Workshop at 20% or 25% off. So it's always worth checking in with those first before you go to the GW website. They don't always have everything. There's like specific reasons why they have stuff and don't have stuff. So it's always worth having a look there, because it makes the hobby more accessible. And also if you buy like a big pack, you get a discount on that on top, so it's even better, really. Let's just paint this on. So this green is very green, but it's a goblin, so they're going to be quite bright. Not everything has to be super dark. I find that I tend to go too dark with my painting, when sometimes I just want to paint bright colours, and I think being able to paint in bright colours well, I think that's a clear indication of skill. I think if you can paint models in really, really bright colours and still give them some kind of depth, I think that's a true sign of skill, I feel. There we go. I really don't think I'm gonna have any issues. Yeah, so with every model now, I force myself to do some kind of free painting, like a pattern of some sort, or some kind of free painting, and also edge highlighting. I insist that I have to edge highlight something on the model, because I'm terrible at both. So I figure if I never start, I'll never improve. So let's just So there's a few teeth on here. I don't know if I have a bone. I could just get away with a white or a yellow. That's pretty easy. Let's do the eyes. Thanks, sir. Appreciate that. Hope you have a good day as well. It's nice of you to pop on to say that, actually. Appreciate that. So this is very dark red again. I've got a lighter red somewhere, I'm sure. Oh, this one's almost dry. That's no good. Okay, so I'm not going to add water to this one because the eyes are always quite a delicate. I'm going to have to do this out of shot and then show you. So fiddly. So again, the reason I like orcs and goblins is that you don't have to paint pupils. Whee! Oh, got a little bit of red on the nose, but that's okay. Okay, so is that going to focus in? So you can see eyes are done, and if I turn the nose that way, there's a little bit of red on the nose. You see that line? But I'm going to go back over that, so that should be okay. So I'm just going to do the hands now. Oh wait, no, gotta wash my brush. Just going to do hands and feet. Again, not overly concerned about those. But I do want to lighten this green as well. There's quite a lot of water that just went on that, in that green. Oh dear. Let's see how we get on. Yeah, that's a lot of water. Too much water. It's going to sink into the recesses. I've made it more like a wash, unfortunately. Okay, so that's one hand. I might as well just do the other hand before I show you. I'm looking forward to lightening this green because these goblins are going to be pretty bright skinned. I think it was like the darker the orc, something about the orc's skin colour, there was something in the lore that, because there's black orcs, isn't there? And I think the darker green they are, something gives them some characteristic. I think it makes them, it means they're stronger. I'm not up on my lore. Maybe with Warhammer, but when the old world exploded and it became Age of Sigmar, I'm not fully there with the lore. I really don't know what's going on. I mean, I bought the Dominion box set, but even so, I'm not super sure. Let's cover that splodge on the nose as well. There we go. Okay. No, it's tough to get rid of that. Okay. So that's where we're at with the goblin. Looks alright. Come on, camera. There we go. There's my goblin. Still very dark looking. Again, we have to bring that colour up somehow. I'm just gonna. Oh wait, no, they aren't bare feet. They're shoes. I've just realised there's shoes on the feet. So let's just instead just quickly whack some brown on those. Doesn't even have to be super neat. There we go. And there we go. Feet. And when it comes time for basing, that's going to be... You're not going to really see the feet at all, to be honest. Okay, let's find a lighter red somewhere. I'm pretty sure I do have a lighter red. I actually have some Games Workshop paints that are actually... I mean, this paint is, what, 26 years old? It's still liquidy. So I don't understand how this one that's 26 years old doesn't dry out. But then the new ones from 5 years ago, don't last more than a year. I don't understand what happened with the paint, the downgrading. I don't want to think it was a corporate move, like, hey, if we make this paint dry out easier, people will buy more of them. I really hope it wasn't that decision. These ones didn't last at all with these lids, but so again, that's why I prefer the army painters. What was I looking for? A red. Okay, we've got Mehiston red? That's a lighter red. So let's whack on some of this. Boop. Oh, this is new. Oh, wow. This is a new red. I didn't even realise I had a new red. Well, that's useful. Just opened it for the tiniest amount of red. I really should paint a red army. What have I got? I got some Chaos Warriors I could paint red. Maybe I should do those. So I'm just putting a teeny tiny dot of this into the eyes. Just a teeny tiny dot. Okay. Great. Let's check the white and do some green edge highlights on those hands. Should I whack a little ink into the recesses? No. Oh, this is also the same. Look, see, it goes grey. I don't know why it does that. I just fear that maybe I didn't shake it soon enough, but it comes out okay. So let's just try and make a lighter green there. Okay, that's not so bad. It's more white than green at this point though. Okay, let's try that. So, let me show you before the edge highlights. Okay, that's before. And then I'll just go in there and try and put on some edge highlights. I might not even paint the teeth, maybe. I might be able to get away with not even painting the teeth. Although if I'm doing bone for the bow, I can do bone for the... I can do the teeth with the same colour. Just a little bit there, a little bit on the nose, under the chin, under the eyes. Around the edge of the mouth. And then fingers. Well, knuckles anyway. Knuckles. Boop. Boop. Just a little bit on some of the raised surfaces. I never know exactly where to put edge highlights. Kind of get a little confuzzled. Okay, so that's the lighter green on now. And if I show you that, do we see a difference? You know what? We do see a little difference. There we go. Maybe it was worth that. The eyes still look a little dead. They still look a little dead. So what I might do is I might try something experimenting whilst painting. Dangerous. Let's take a little bit of this white, right? Let's just take some of that white. And let's try and put a little bit of white in each of the eyes. Oh no, this is where it goes wrong. A little bit of white. Ooh. Okay. Then the other eye. Just a little bit of white in the eye. You know what? I think that's actually worked. Tell me what you think. Have a look. There we go. I put a little white in the eyes. That gives it... I think that gives it way more character. Okay. I'm going to keep the white in the eyes. I like that. I like that. Now, I've got a little bit of green wash left over. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of water in that. See... Oh, there's no green. No green there. Let's put some more. Put some more in. Just a teeny tiny splash. And I want to try and get some in the recesses. Oh, that immediately dissipated. Let's just try and get a little bit. No, gonna need some more. Boop. Boop, boop, boop. Let's try and get a bit more in the recesses. Come on, load up. under the nose, I guess. Just ever so slightly. Maybe under the neck, yeah. A little bit between the fingers. There we go. How's that? That looks like a goblin face to me. I'm definitely going to do the teeth. Definitely going to do the teeth. So let's just, whilst I've got some white there, let's take some of that and mark out the teeth in preparation for having some yellow put on them. So just ever so slightly. And what I can also use this white for, whilst I've got it on the brush, is to lighten the bowstrings. I'm not overly concerned about it at this point because I can go over it again with a wash, but it's just to distinguish it. So that's, yeah, if we have a look, just to distinguish it a little bit. I know it looks mucky. Goblins are very small, but face, I would say face is done. I'm happy with the face. So what we can do now is we can move on to the robe. We've already got brown. Let's take some of this Avaland Sunset and use that to mix up. This paint's okay. Oh, it's quite watery though. Okay. So we have to find a middle ground somehow. Yeah, what is that? It's a base. So base is watery. Base, but that wasn't watery. The reds are base. They weren't watery. But then there's layer. Maybe layer. Maybe that's not supposed to be so watery. I guess. I don't know. I don't know the terminology of layer, base, and whatnot with Games Workshop paints. It's a little bit confusing to me. Let's go somewhere like that. Okay, so we got a goblin. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to paint on some of the raised sections. I guess it's going to change the colour of this robe significantly. Or should I just go maybe... Oh, that's no good. Come on. It's so watery though, that's the problem. Let's just start popping it on some of the raised bits. Now, wet blending is something that interests me. Now, I know it takes many layers to do. So I think once I've done this, I'm meant to put like some wash on the gradients between, I think. I'm meant to do. I think. I'm not overly sure exactly. When did I get into model painting? So, as a teenager, a little bit, but I haven't been painting seriously again. I got back into it. I think it was lockdown when I got back into it. I bought a box, and it kind of just rekindled my interest. Because I would like to be really good at painting, but I'd like to go to classes and like social groups where people get together and talk about painting, and dare I say, actually play the hobby. I think with the 10th edition of Warhammer 40,000, I'm gonna learn to play that one. I think, and I might do something with the channel and playing. So I'm just putting some. Oh, that was a bit too liberal on the bow. Okay, well that still looks okay. I think we can go with that as long as I try and leave some of the existing brown on. But yeah, so dabbled as a kid, but then got back into it really with lockdown, to be honest. There we go. Yeah, actually I quite like what's going on there. Can you see that? The arm and the bow. Come on, camera, focus in. There we go. That's getting there. Okay, I like that. Let's see what's going on in messages. Hey, Hudson. Hudson, yeah. Yeah, I really missed being away. I really struggled being away, really struggled. I would say that what year was last year? 2022. I would say that 2022 has been one of the toughest years, I would say, of my existence. It was a really tough year for me, but the reason I can say that is because I've come out the other end, and I wouldn't be back here if I wasn't okay. You know, if that makes sense. I know that sounds a bit ambiguous, but I don't want to bring the fun down of the video, you know. But it was a tough one, man, and I hope you're good. But I'm super happy to be here, super happy to be back. It's really nice. Hudson, I've created a Discord again, so if you want to come and chat with me in the flesh, so to speak, you totally can. So there's a new Discord. The link is on some of the newer videos. So if you just look at the date the videos were posted, just any of the new ones, it should have a permanent link attached. So you can just come and chat to me in person, and we can like do something. We can play a game. I don't mind what we do, as long as we do something. As long as we do something. No, we can just sit and chat as well. What am I talking about? As long as we do something. As long as we do something. I won't. You can't come on the Discord if you're gonna do nothing. What's that? So it turns out this this colour idea has worked out quite well. Quite enjoying doing these raised parts. How are we doing for time? 22 minutes. 22 minutes. Let's do some more edges. See, I know edge highlighting takes longer than... Okay, so I'm on back of the head, back of the robe now. So I kind of feel like I don't have to be so precious with these bits. But at the same time, you don't want to be so cavalier that you're just making mistakes and undoing your hard work from earlier, you know? Okay. Oh, you're already in it. Good stuff. Good stuff. We haven't played much in there yet. We played some... do you know the game Territorial.io? It's like... it's just a little browser game. It's like real-time Risk. If you've ever played that. It's a great sitting on the toilet game. You can play it on your phone. But you can really screw people over in it. It's delicious. But yeah, it's essentially real-time Risk. It looks awful. When I first got introduced to it, I was like, what's this rubbish? But it's actually surprisingly fun. And surprisingly tactical as well. I was... yeah, I continue to be impressed with it. I was playing it just today. I also bought... I think it was Jedi Knight Fallen Order for 90% off on Steam. I don't know if it's still that price, but I'm hoping that the Star Wars game will be good. It's got good reviews, and I thought 90% off, it's worth a punt. I played some Crossout. It's still not good. I don't like the predatory nature of that game. It's still trying to suck as much money out of people as possible, and I'm not so keen on that. Even though I should, for all intensive purposes, I do like Crossout. It's just I have some fundamental disagreements with how the business model of Crossout is, and I don't think it's fair to prey on people the way they do. And I don't think it's a good image for gaming, really. I could elaborate on that. It sounds a bit negative, I know, but I try to like it, but I can't get past. It's just I don't like how it sees people. It feels like they're trying to milk you for all you're worth. Okay, so I have fluffed up the back a little bit. I feel maybe a little bit too much. Yeah, a little bit. But we should be okay. Well, I don't know. You tell me. Look at the back. Look at the back of the hood. Let's see when it focuses. Hello? Come on, camera. Please focus. How far away do you have to be? Come on. Focus on the goblin. Look at it. Look at the goblin. Yeah, there we go. There's the back of the hood. Yeah, I could probably try and clean that up with the brush a little bit, with the wash. But that's kind of the grey area that I get into. Okay, so this is drying out as well. Let's pick up the pace a little bit with this colour. Even with the wet palette, stuff will dry. Okay, let's just do the little nubbins on the belt.
see how I'm painting here? I found that's something I discovered. Like, put your hands on a table, on a flat surface, and it really helps. Because before I would just stabilize one, but I found putting both hands on a surface really helped with the steady hands. So I'm super pleased with that. I would heavily recommend painting like that. And also with my setup as well, like, I didn't want to get back pain, so the desk I'm painting on is actually like a stool height desk, but I'm sitting in an office chair, so I'm actually quite low down. But what it means is that I'm not hunching over looking at the model, which I would recommend as well. It's awful to hunch over a model. So if you have to think about your posture if you're painting for long periods of time. That's no good. I'm not so keen on that. Let's just put a bit. There we go. Just do the edges. Now I think you're meant to paint along the line with edge highlights, but I'm kind of like, how can I explain it? I kind of like in between the edge highlight. Like, I will turn the model if it's like a really delicate edge, but if I feel like I can just do it without turning, then I will, if that makes sense. Like now, for example. Let's just do... Yeah, I might have to do a little bit with the wash. See if I can't figure that out. Oh no! Yeah, the trouble is the gradient is too... I feel like the gradient is too high on the back. You see that? I feel like the gradient between the light and dark is too high. But if I put a wash on it, then I will darken the brown. So, maybe if I like... Let's take a bit of water. Let's just take a bit of water and do a test. So I clean the brush and I've taken a bit of the dark brown. Let's just try and see what happens if I really... I'm going to water that down even more, actually. Let's just turn that into a little bit of a wash and see if I can't just ease that line a little bit. Yeah, that kind of works a little bit, maybe. No. Well, yes and no, actually. It does clean it up a little bit. Actually, that does... Yeah, that does actually really help. Maybe turning the colour into a bit of a wash is the way to go. You can just neaten it up a little bit. I should have shown you before I neatened it. Yeah, I quite like that, actually. Okay, yeah, that I like. That does reduce the sharpness of the gradient a little bit. Not perfectly, but a little bit. Yeah, it has neatened it up, actually. Hey, there's something to be said about that. Let's just do a little bit in there. Yeah, okay, that's definitely... Okay, I definitely feel a lot happier about the back of that. Can you see? Can you see the back of that? Is that blending? Did I do a blending? Is that what I did? Did I... Oh, come on, camera, help a brother out. I want to show my potentially accidental blending. Hello, Goblin. Oh, come on. Come on, camera. Yeah, you can do it. There you go. Did I do a blending? I think I did a blending, guys. I think I did a blending. I did a blending. I'm going to put a little bit more on the front as well. Let's just put some of that on the front whilst I've got it on the brush. But now the front looks worse. The back I'm really... You know what, I think this is okay. I don't think I necessarily have to tone this down too much. Yeah. I quite like the front. I don't think I have to do too much of this blending. Okay, so let's do... So the back of the robe I'm happy with. The front of the robe I have to do the collar. And then just a little bit on the front of the robe. How am I doing for time? 13 minutes. We can totally do this. This is totally doable. I don't see any reason why I can't get this finished in an hour. And to be honest, if I wasn't chatting, I think that you could complete this goblin quicker. I reckon. I'm going to need some water on that. Let's take some. fix that in a little bit. There we go. I think for the home straight, I need to pick up the pace a little bit though. So I'm just doing the collar. I know I said about holding my hands on the table, but I've got my forearms, both forearms braced against the side of the desk for this particular one. I wonder if you could do a model in an hour that's more complicated. I'm not so sure. I don't know. Oh, God, I love this hobby. I tell you what as well, right? So this hobby's quite expensive. Say you wanted to get like a box set and a paint set. You're probably going to look at like €50, right? To get started. If you include like a paint set which has clippers and glue in and your first box of models, right? But if you take that €50, you probably get, I reckon you probably get about 60, 70 hours worth of fun out of it when you consider assembling, painting, and then the board game afterwards. But if you just take the assembling and painting, I reckon 60, 70 hours if you really sit down with it. And compare the €50 to what? What's that? 2.5 trips to the cinema nowadays? So economically, it does work out. Scout Saber, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm really happy to be back. Yeah, I really missed you guys. I'll be honest, because I'm not gonna. Nah, it's too terrible, too depressing to say. But I missed being around. I really did. Yeah, made me sad face. Let's get back to this collar. I'm very short on time now, so I should just the front of the robe now. Maybe a little bit on the shoes, maybe a little bit. Oh, I'm worried I've gone a bit too watery there. Well, we'll soon see. But I would like to get into playing the game. I was thinking like I could do like a match where it's just me on the stream rolling dice, and then we could see what scenarios play out. I really like doing that, and I like doing narratives with units. So like I will repaint models. Like for example, one of my human squads, they broke, and only one person survived, but he fled. So the next match, I painted him in like jumpsuit orange, and he was in the front line squad. He was inmate 112, whatever that was. But he was put in the front line for the next game I played, and I really liked that. I like the little narrative. A little bit on the shoes. Oh, we're totally there now. This is the last little bit. Boop. Little bit on the shoe. Oh, feathers. Feathers, teeth, and bow. End of bow. 10 minutes still. Yeah, we'll cross the line. Yeah, like a storyline. Okay, let me give you this full story. So, it was an Imperial Guard Cadian squad, right? And I had a commissar in it. And commissars basically make sure that you don't retreat. So, the squad's 10 men, it has a sergeant. And I can't remember what shot at it, but something shot at it and wiped out most of the squad. In fact, it wiped out one guardsman, everyone but one guardsman, the sergeant of the squad, and the commissar. Now, in the rules at that point, if you fail a leadership test, the commissar can execute the sergeant, and the squad will hold. That's what it was at the time. I don't know if we made up the rule or if it was a real rule. But anyway, so it failed the leadership test. The commissar puts his pistol to the face of the sergeant, and the remaining guardsman's like, hey, I'm not going to run. Something else happened. The commissar died, and then the line guardsman ran, right? So the next game we played, he came back, and I'd repainted him in orange, and I made sure he was in front line squad. And then somehow he got into close combat with a Space Marine Devastator squad, which is basically Space Marines with heavy weapons. And a Space Marine who was holding a missile launcher hit him with the missile launcher tube, and he became a casualty. Because when you take stuff off the board, they're not necessarily dead, they're just a casualty, no longer in the fight. So what I did was I cut off one of the model's legs and gave him a metal leg. But then, because he had distinguished himself by going close combat with a Space Marine, which is basically a walking tank, I made him the sergeant of the squad for the following game. So he got his own squad. So he's almost redeemed. So he wasn't yellow anymore. He was painted as a sergeant himself. And he had a power fist and a bionic leg. So that's the kind of narrative model making I really like. But what I should have done is because I kept carving up and repainting the same model. What I should have done is got a new model and had the different steps of his journey. That's what I should have done, rather than changing the same model over and over. I should have kept the stages, and I think that's what I will do in the future. And I really like narrative stuff like that. I get a real kick out of it. I think it's really fun. We are running out of time. Okay, so literally just a little bit of Leadbelcher. Ooh. Just a tiny bit on the end of the arrowhead. There we go. Just a little bit there. It's a bit watery, this Leadbelcher. I guess because I didn't shake it. The pigment's all at the bottom. Should have shook it. Okay, that's that. And then we need some kind of light colour for the teeth and the bow. Hey! We've got this yellow. We can just use this yellow. I've got this yellow on my palette already. So if I just take a bit of white, or this crummy grey white, and then just mix that up, I can make a light yellow. There we go. Come on. Not got much time, guys. A little bit more yellow. Yeah, that'll do. Yeah. I love wet palettes so much. They're so useful. They're so useful. So just a little bit of yellow on the teeth. Whoop. Yeah, just it doesn't have to be a lot of yellow. Just these two teeth as well. Whoop. Oh, I kind of messed that one up a little bit. There is an awful lot of paint on that brush, so maybe that's why. Okay, bow feathers. Just a little bit of yellow on there. Not too much. Wait. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of green wash on that mouth where I screwed up the tooth a little bit. Yeah, I love commissars. I love the idea of commissars in there's just so much in 40k lore and Warhammer lore in general that I really get a kick out of. That really just tickles me. Because in a world where everyone's being so careful, Warhammer storyline doesn't even try to be careful. Like the most horrendous things happen in that universe. And I like that. I like that. Okay, so what I had to do is I had to clean up those two teeth on that side. But I still think they're okay. So I would say robe done. For the most part. I didn't feel the need to lighten everything, but I feel like I've lightened enough. What do we think? How's the face? What do you think of the face? Would you say that's a passable goblin? I would say that's a passable goblin. I could do a little bit more of the arrowhead. I will, actually. We've got a couple of more minutes. So I'm going to take a lighter metal, Runefang steel, and I'm just going to do an edge highlight on that arrowhead. There we go. Just a teeny tiny bit. Again, this is really watery. Why are my metallic paints so watery? What is that? So just an edge highlight. Nothing major. Although these metallic... Yeah, I'm not so excited about why they're like this. Something's up. There we go. Just ever so slightly. It's hardly noticeable. It's more for my benefit than anything else. I would say we're done. But I've got 4 minutes. Do you think I should do anything else? I haven't done any... brighten the edges a bit. Yeah. It's so not... It's so... Can you even see it? It's so subtly... I guess you can see it, actually, if you look at the arrowhead. Yeah. Okay, we got a goblin. We got ourselves a little goblin. Now all I've got to do is paint the other 60. 59. But I think with a production line, you can definitely get them going. I never thought to put white in the red eyes, but I feel like the white really helps. Yeah, give him a bit of character. So there we go. We've still got 3 minutes 43 seconds left on the deadline. Do we want to do anything else on the painting? Probably not. Do you want to see anything else? I mean, I could... well, what can I show you? I could show you... What can I show you? Let's just grab a box of something. What's this? I've got some damaged skinks down there. I've got quite a lot of models to do. Oh, there's loads in there. I need to get some more colours.
We need to decide what I should paint next, really.
Or make it feel rougher. Give it a tint.
I don't. Ah, you mean like a wash? Mm-hmm. Agreed. Let's go dark tone. Sorry, I got paintbrush in my mouth. Let's go dark tone. And then shake the Runefang steel and see if we can't get something better out of it. I agree. That's a good idea. Let's try the dark tone. So it's just like a black ink. So let's put the black ink on. There we go. Black ink. Might as well do the underside as I have the ink. There we go. And then what we'll do is we'll try the edge highlight again, shall we? Let's give it a good old shake. I think my metal. I think the pigments have dried at the bottom. I don't think I'm getting much out of the bottoms of the arrow. I'm also going to put some more of this Agrax Earthshade on the feathers. I'm just not too happy with how they look, so I'm just going to put some of that on the feathers just to get it to go into some of the recesses. There we go. I like that a little bit more. I'm not going to do the mouth. I'm going to leave the mouth. I think that's fine. Okay, Runefang steel on the edge of the... Yeah, again, it's like milk. Look. Can you see that? There's no pigment there. That's no good. I think my Runefang steel has gone... Ah, no. These paints fall apart before I can replace the things. They just don't last. Maybe these army painter paints are worth getting, because the container's just so much more useful, maybe. Because I can't keep... Oh, but I like the colours. Oh, hang on. There we go. We got some pigment there. There was some just hanging out on the edge. 1 minute left. 1 minute for the edge highlights of the arrowhead. Hey, yeah, that looks better. Yeah, okay. That does actually look sharp now. Oop. There we go. Have a look at the arrowhead now. Come on, focus. There you go. So there, the arrowhead does look a bit better. It's really hard to see on the camera, but there is more of a contrast between the edges now and the main bit. It could probably be neatened up a little bit, but I think that goblin is all good. Let's just hold him up to the camera one more time. I'm pretty pleased with him. Hey, buddy. Maybe the camera, but remember the light is really, really bright. But I think that's okay. Always keen to improve. But with the blender, the layering, the wet blending, the layering, I forget what it's called. Why am I hearing some random sound? Oh, it's my I get a sound for the end of the thingy thing. Wait, okay. Let's just get rid of you. Hey, stop. Shut up. I wonder what that weird sound was. I've never heard that stop clock sound before. Right, we're good. Goblin's done. So, let me know what you think. I'm definitely going to do this again, because I think with the channel, I'm just going to do things I like, you know, and I really enjoyed sitting here chatting with you guys. So, yeah, I really like this. This is the first time I've tried it, and it's been a really enjoyable hour. I've really enjoyed just sitting here hanging out with you guys. So, I definitely think I'm going to do more of this. Yeah, just what the doctor ordered, really. Just really, really nice, enjoyable chat. Relaxing. I didn't realise live streaming could be so relaxing. Amazing. Right. So yeah, yeah. There we go. That's a goblin done. I think we can do this. I'll look into the setup change a little bit. Any suggestions really would be appreciated for how I could make it better for you guys watching. But that's a pretty good first attempt, really. Okay, well, yeah, I'm gonna go. Guys, absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. Really enjoyed myself. Yeah, I'll see you soon. hopefully for another equally enjoyable live stream. All right, take care, guys. It's been really fun. Nice to hear from you. I'll see you later.